Will you be paying more in taxes in 2026? Taxpayers will be glued to their screens for the tabling of the national budget to find out. The experts say Godongwana has no wiggle room to raise taxes, especially for the middle class.
The tax base is shrinking. I think there is little to no room to tax anymore. The appetite is definitely that we have tax fatigue and paying more of that. And I think as South Africa, we've actually reached what we call the Laffer curve. So the top point of that Laffer curve, meaning that the more that we tax doesn't mean that we're collecting more. So I think government is slowly moving away from taxing more, but rather focusing on efficiently collecting the revenue that's due. And I think that's a good step by National Treasury. Fortunately, we know the old adage, you only share about two things in life, being death and taxes, so we cannot completely wipe taxes off the table.
Sesana says Treasury may look at other ways to raise money instead of increasing personal income tax.
So I don't foresee, I think VAT will remain steady at 15%, so we shouldn't expect anything there. The compliance drive to get more vendors to pay the VAT and to collect the VAT. And we also see that the amount of VAT refunds is now significantly dropping because that is, where we'd also bleed in refunds and not collect the amount of revenue due. So all that insight and the monies that SARS has been given to strengthen its position in, per se, like for example in the VAT, is actually going to work.
However, taxpayers could still feel pressure through a bracket creep. This happens when tax brackets are not adjusted for inflation. Even if your salary increases is small, you could move into a higher tax bracket and end up paying more tax.
Say the taxes aren't being increased, but actually that is a polite fiction, because by not taking into effect the bracket creep, as a result of inflation, we find that all taxpayers, individual taxpayers, are paying a higher effective tax rate than they were, 3-4 years ago. Purely as a result of inflation, we've been persons who were below the threshold have been essentially dragged into the brackets, and that's sort of where the term fiscal drag or bracket creep comes from.
According to Kalop, an amendment to the tax brackets could be on the cards for 2026.
That is where the minister will probably have to go again, and it hits the middle class the hardest. And again, maybe I'm a bit cynical, but there is a segment of the tax base who are not mobile with their capital. Targeting the middle class, maybe not intentionally, but it's certainly far less likely to result in a narrowing of our tax base, which actually has the opposite effect.
The experts also warn of a tax hangover for those who withdrew from the two-part retirement system last year.
Where that income that is being extracted out of your retirement fund, now that gets added into your taxable income, again, potentially pushing you into higher marginal tax rates, which individuals aren't aware of.
Experts say middle-income earners have carried the tax burden for years, and they hope this budget will bring some relief.
Individuals will get slight relief, meaning that the tax tables will be adjusted a bit for inflation and to accommodate us who are really feeling the pinch in the market. It's yet to be seen, the budget speech, pensioners are being impacted, as well as our medical aid tax credit system, which they're talking about abolishing to finance NHI. At the moment, it's a little bit on hold. But those medical aid credits have also been static for the last 3 years.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana's speech comes amid rising unemployment, with over 12 million people affected. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Pretoria.